All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Gym Floor. We've got Jay with us today.
Yep.
How are you, my man?
Feeling a bit sluggish. It's the weather, but also, had my competition.
Was it the weekend just gone or the weekend before? It was the weekend before. It's 2
weekends,
weeks.
yeah.
Been 2 weeks.
Almost, 12 days roughly? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm just feeling a bit lazy.
Yeah. How were you feeling? What was the sort of hardest part about your prep?
I'd say the last 2 weeks leading up to it.
Yeah.
Mentally, I guess, because I was in a deficit. I was for my maintenance, maintenance basically, I was about 80 kilos. So for me to be at 80, I needed to eat about 2,000 calories.
Mm-hmm.
So I was eating about 11 to 1,200 a day, which is pretty aggressive.
1,200.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Plus the training on top of that, plus 15,000 steps a day, which was roughly 12K. So, yeah, I was feeling
Bro, that's crazy.
And then everyone, obviously, at the gym and stuff like that, people in my life knew that I was just a bit off.
Yeah.
Didn't want to look at anyone, didn't want to smile. So it's good to actually after comp, it's good to actually have some mental clarity, feel normal, can smile, can talk to people. We were actually supposed to do one of these on the peak week. Yeah, the week of my comp, but I just couldn't function. I couldn't even train people. I had to sit down when I was training them and stuff. So the last few days I actually took time off because I think it was too strict. Next time, so in October I'll do it again. I'll have a longer prep instead of 2 months. 2 months was not enough.
It's pretty crazy to think how much of a toll it takes on the rest of your life, isn't it?
Yeah.
To consider you from even you this week, coming out, having more calories, obviously, it's just a complete change, man. Not as if you're rude or anything like that, but you're just down, bro. You're just
I knew it.
you know what I mean? You're just getting through the day. It was almost, you look in zombie mode, you know what I mean? You're in just zombie mode. But yeah, to see the change, man, it's pretty crazy to think how much of a toll it takes on the rest of your life.
And that's what anyone that either competes or maybe they're on a weight loss journey, you'll learn as you go by that when you're in such a low, so obviously you need to learn about energy balance. So when you're in a restriction of calories or food, so say like we said, maintenance, if you're below that, it affects everything, your mental state. My sex drive, I had none whatsoever. It's little things like that. Didn't even want to smile, little things that you don't think need energy, they do. And everything else suffers. And if you don't tell people around you what you're going through, people might take it personally. So anyone on the gym floor that did see me I was maybe a bit rude or looked like a dick, don't take it personally. I was just my body was just fucking struggling to grasp on any bit of energy I had. So even our other trainer, Babora, when she was in her competition prep, I didn't really I knew she was low on food and that, but I didn't really understand till I actually went through it. And she was telling me 2 weeks prior to me actually being in that deficit, oh, you're still smiling, you're all right. And I didn't. I was like, what do you mean? And then as it got harder and closer towards it, I understood that, I didn't even want to look at people. I knew they were looking at me wanting to interact, and I just kind of looked at the floor angry because I knew they wanted my attention, and I just thought straight away, if I give them my attention, then it's going to require energy. So anything I knew that required a certain amount of energy, I kind of shut it off. It was weird. I try to take naps and shit like that just to cope with it.
Yeah. It is one of those things that people don't really understand, and the pursuit of being lean is quite a stressful thing.
I don't know how people do it all year round. That would be torture.
Yeah.
And the people around you all year round being at that lean state, it's not attainable.
I think it's a good education for a lot of people to set realistic goals. I think obviously you stepped on stage, you looked amazing, came away with the second place. And a lot of effort, a lot of energy went into that, but it's also the toll that, as you said, takes on you outside of the gym. So people like with families and stuff like that, like having a physique like you presented 2 weeks ago, it's probably not going to be attainable for some people. And it's not due to the fact that like you're not strict enough or you don't have the capability. It's literally the fact of like you got to sacrifice so much, and it's like what is the priority in your life? And for a lot of people, like it's cool because like obviously you're sort of single, so you can be that selfish person that you need to be to pursue that goal. But I think for a lot of people, it's like they really have to understand of the sacrifices that you have to make to get to such a peak physique. That's
100% correct. You have to weigh up your options and go, is it really worth being that 2 or 3% leaner for sacrificing relationships, interaction with people, going out, eating, like little things, even just, performing at work or, obviously being with someone, like lucky I was single because I don't know. I know a lot of friends that when they competed, they broke up with their partners just because the partner didn't understand and they took it personally, and seeing guys on the day that they actually had partners and whatever helping them and shit, like I take my hat off to them, man, because just all the energy and stuff you can't give them. And then obviously if you're frustrated or you're going through a hard time and, you might take it out on them without even wanting to. I can't imagine.
Is that the keeper, bro? Is it the one that stays through the comp prep? Is she the keeper?
I'd say so, bro. Like,
that's the biggest test.
Yeah, you got to have someone that actually can understand. Like anyone that has a partner, you've got your own missus. I've had my partners in the past. Like if you don't have someone that can understand what you're going through and help you reach whatever you want to reach in life, as a partnership, like man. That's why I've probably been single for so long, because I just haven't found someone that aligns with it. But that's why you can't be selfish as well. I knew, like I was seeing someone before, and I just knew I couldn't give them. I knew because I've been in a deficit before, not that strict, but I have been, and I was an asshole. And people around me the last few weeks have understood that. So. If you are going to go on your journey of losing weight or wanting to compete or whatever, you're going to have to realize, like you were saying, there's going to be a lot of sacrifice, not just health-wise, mentally, relationships, work. You have to tell everyone around you what you're going to go through, because if you don't, it's probably going to wreck a lot of relationships and friendships and stuff. And actually, when I went through all this stuff as well, you actually know who's there for you and who's not as well.
Yeah, I was going to actually say that before. Like, it is a little bit of eye opener to like who's there for you, isn't it?
And also, like, even just on social media and stuff, I took a bit of time off and then I came back on, and just having support from people I didn't even know and stuff like that. That was pretty humbling, Yeah. I guess some of them don't know what you're going through, but I guess they see all the hard work you put in. And I had a lot of like clients and stuff going, like, to see you go through it. Like, you already look pretty good, but to see you get to that next level and still try and work and do all these other things, like they're saying that it was a bit of an inspiration for them. So it was actually, I enjoyed the experience. I had a lot of fun as well. It's a roller coaster, the whole bodybuilding space. But it's like anything. It's like playing rugby, being a gymnast, whatever it is.
Nothing's ever smooth.
Yeah, but until you actually experience it for yourself, you have no idea. Just like people that fight or whatever, you think you know, but until you actually do it, now that I've experienced this, it's good because I can look at an athlete or maybe just someone that's trying to lose weight or whatever, and take a step back and not be so judgmental and go, I don't know what they're going through, so I shouldn't think that I know, because I haven't walked in their shoes. So it's been a big eye opener, actually.
Gives you that empathy towards them. I did notice, remember you were mentioning how it's give you a different perspective on like your clients and to see what they're going through, because obviously you were in good shape before, and I think like me and you kind of similar in the way that we just enjoy training. So like staying in relatively good shape isn't too hard for us.
Yeah.
But obviously for other people that maybe don't enjoy the gym floor, they don't enjoy the nutrition side of things, just getting to say like a healthy physique can be quite hard on them. And it's good to see that like you can gain that perspective from putting yourself, probably pushing yourself that extra 10% is them pushing themselves that extra 10% to get to the healthy state.
No, you're right. Because it doesn't matter what level you're on, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Anything good in life's not easy. Like you have to work for it. But yeah, it's good to be, I guess, pushing myself out of my comfort zone, because that's what they're doing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
We're on different levels, but it's the same game.
Yeah.
We're pushing ourselves. We're doing things that we don't like, that it sucks. And you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm sore. I feel like shit. I'm not eating any food. I'm eating all the stuff I don't want to eat. I see everyone going out eating and drinking and having a good time. But when you really want something that bad, you just have to make sacrifices. I think that's the moral of the story today. You know, you got to learn, or you got to see, you got to look on the outside looking in and go, okay, what am I willing to sacrifice to get what I want? Because at the end of the day, if you don't make a sacrifice, you're only going to get so far. I was just speaking to a client this morning. He loves drinking every weekend, but he wants to lose a certain amount of weight. And I said, okay, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's going to take time. But if you don't sacrifice those binging days on the weekend, you're only going to reach so far.
Yeah.
And if you just keep drilling it in his head, eventually he's going to understand that. And he has to make that decision for himself.
Exactly. It is that thing of priority where we spoke about before. And like, if you want to enjoy your life, I think as you said, you was a young fella, and young fellas, you want to enjoy your life when you're young.
Nothing wrong
and there's
with
nothing wrong with that. Exactly. It's just priorities. You know what I mean? If your priorities want to go hang out with your friends and enjoy your youth, then go do that. If it's you want to get lean, you want to look good, you want to be in the gym, then you're going to have to sacrifice the other side of it. You know what I mean? I don't think there's no right or wrong answer like to this. And
there honestly isn't, bro.
There isn't, man.
It's your life. You can do whatever you want, but you just got to learn that if you want to reach a certain level in anything, there's going to be sacrifice, or you're going to either enjoy yourself and hang out with your mates and party or whatever, or you have to do the complete opposite. And you're going to have to cut some people out too that aren't going to align with that. There's no right or wrong. There's no. If you want to enjoy yourself and go out every weekend, but still be a bit healthy and go train, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I think it's important to touch on as well the post. So after the show, obviously you came in great nick. We've spoken about off air about your binge eating type after it. I think it's a good little insight for people just to see sort of what it was like going after and just into the mind, the thought process of like binging and stuff like that. And
man, it's hard, man. I weighed myself this morning. I was 86.
And your show weight was?
My show was like, so I had to weigh in the day before. I was about 78.8.
78.8, yeah.
But obviously as you carb up, so what you do is you deplete yourself on peak week. Well, that's what we did anyway to reach my stage weight, because just like boxers, you know, they sweat, they do all these manipulations of carbohydrates and stuff to reach your weight. So that's what I did. And then obviously the day before I had more carbohydrates, so like rice and stuff, to fill my body back up. So what happens when you don't eat carbohydrates? You lose glycogen out of your muscle, which is what makes your muscle look full, makes you stronger. It's basically the water in your muscle, intracellular water, I think, and your glycogen. When you eliminate water, sodium, and carbohydrates, you know, you get flat. That's what they call flat. And then the day before or whatever, you carb up. So when I carbed up,
one of the main reasons why people lose so much weight initially on keto, is because you pull the carbohydrates, so you don't have glycogen in your system. And when you have glycogen, they hold on to water, like hence the term carbohydrates.
Exactly. Yeah. So they think, oh, it's working.
Yeah.
And then when they go back to eating carbs, they put it all back on and they're like, oh shit, like what's going on? So when I carved back up, I got
Do Yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, got to about 80 kilos on stage day.
So you changed 1.2, so pretty much
Roughly,
overnight.
maybe even a bit more. But in the morning, I was about 80 kilos.
Yeah.
And obviously through the day with pumping up and eating a bit more, probably put on another 500 grams or something.
Yeah, so it's nearly a 2 kilo switch in like 24
and
hours.
That's the same as like with clients, whatever. If you don't weigh yourself at the same time in the morning, once you've gone to the bathroom, if you weigh yourself different times of the day, you're going to demotivate yourself, because I guarantee at the end of the day you can put on a kilo and a half easy, 2 kilos. You're going to fluctuate.
Exactly. I think it's important for people to understand that sodium plays a massive part. As you said, carbohydrates plays a massive part. Stress, water,
cortisol.
Even like, as you said in the morning, like eating, whether you've taken a shit, like it all plays into role. And like
I had to do that per peak week. These like little suppository things.
Yeah.
These little like gel rockets you got to put up your ass
to try and get as much out as you can. So
it was weird. I'll never do that again.
but it's true. It's like your weight can fluctuate so easy. And as you said, like it went up 2 kilos sort of in 24 hours. And it's not like you went out and ate Maccas and had a crazy night out.
It wouldn't have been
like
fat.
That. Yeah, exactly. It's not fat. It's literally just your body replenishing itself and the change in water levels pretty much. So it's a good little insight. And then, speak about your eating sort of after.
Straight after, I had like half a tray of my mum's lasagna, had like 12 slices of brownies and stuff. Like I just went all out. It's kind of like, because you restrict yourself for so long, I was like, just wanted everything at once. And then I just felt sick and like shit. I had to sleep for like 2 hours and woke back up, and then we went to Hurricanes and had like fucking ribs and steak. And at the end of it, like I had like a stomach cramp. I felt like shit. I was sweaty. So then I woke up in the morning and I put on like 2.5 kilos just like that. That was my morning where I was like 82.5. I was like, what the fuck?
It's crazy.
And then, I don't know, all that week, fucking Uber Eats. I probably spent like $500 on Uber Eats, man.
What do you think was the motive behind it, of like the extra sort of eating? I think it's just a good insight for people.
It's a tough one, bro. I don't know.
Is it because you weren't allowed to have it?
Because I wasn't allowed to have it. It's because I felt like, well, I've already done the show anyway, so like who gives a shit? And I think I was a bit, what's the word? Influenced? Because you see all these like bodybuilders or even friends that I know that competed.
Yeah.
Everyone always has their like cheat thing after their show.
Yeah. It's like there's sort of like a reward. Almost. Yeah,
like you'll see on YouTube, I guarantee if you type it in, there'll be like 20 bodybuilders that have like fucking 10,000 calories in one sitting after their show.
Yeah.
So I think I was influenced a bit by that. But I did want to have it. It's because like I was eating bloody chicken, rice, vegetables, fish, like everything as lean as possible. So I love to eat, man. But yeah, I did. As the days kept going by and I kept weighing myself every day, I was just like, what the fuck? Like I felt like my hands were getting swollen and shit. Obviously it still had like definition in my abs and stuff, but it was just like a bloated look, and I just felt sluggish. I was still training and all that. And then when I've been speaking to all my clients, I go, see, I've been training like 6 days a week still, but my food has changed. And if you are eating too much than your body requires, you're just going to put it on. Yeah. Obviously not all of it is fat. It's water and everything else, but still like it pays a big toll. You can train like a madman, but if you're eating too much, you'll get fat, you get bloated, you feel sluggish. But yeah, mentally it's I don't know, I got to stop. I got to get back on track. I think the main thing is eliminating all these temptations. So like obviously Uber Eats app, delete that if you can. Get rid of all the junk out of your place. Like, because I know if I keep going and going and going, I could probably be 90 kilos in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be like that because I got a comp in October. So, and I've seen, like I've had friends that have competed and they put on 10, 12 kilos after comp in a week. And I'm thinking, I've only done half of that. I can't imagine another 5, 10 kilos. Oh, I'd feel like killing myself. So But I've heard of like people reverse dieting out of bodybuilding shows, and so I think I just need to broaden my knowledge a bit more about all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like anything. All these people that have done it before, all my friends or my coaches' clients, they all told me, don't do it. But they done it themselves. They're only telling me because they did the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, whatever. And then until you actually do it now, I'm just like, okay, I completely understand. And I can only imagine if I didn't have, because I did have some kind of restraint with it. Like I still enjoy myself, but I go, okay, I'm going to do my cardio and my training today, and maybe I'll skip my breakfast and that the next day and eat till lunchtime or something. So I still try to mitigate it as much as I could, but still I've blown out heaps. So. And then it's affected me, I guess, self-consciously. You look in the mirror and because you were so lean at one point, and now I'm just like I can see it in my face and shit. I'm just like getting pimples and that everywhere. So it's been an experience.
I think it's, sort of goes back to what we're talking about for the sustainability of it, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, man, if you go so strict and whatever, and you restrict yourself of everything for 2-3 months, it doesn't even have to be that long. You're eventually gonna just want to go all out. So yeah, like you're saying with our clients or anyone that's on their journey to looking and feeling better, it has to be a longer period of time. So my next show, obviously, I only had about 11 weeks this time around. If I can do at least 20 to 16 weeks, at least I can gradually lose weight and not crash diet so hard the last few, trying to reach a certain, body fat. So yeah, longevity.
Yeah, I think that's a big takeaway from this is to understand how much of a sacrifice that you have to make, get your priorities in order. Is it really such a massive priority for you to be super, super lean and just approaching it the most sustainable and consistent way possible?
Yeah, honestly, if you're not going to compete or like do a photo shoot or some shit, I wouldn't.
No.
If you can stay around the 12 or 15 to 10% range as a male, I'd say that's the best, man.
Well, I think once you get under 10%, that's when you start getting, as you said, low sex drive.
Yeah, man.
You're putting your body under stress. Like we're not meant to be like that. Evolutionary.
Same as women, they lose their period.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get pregnant.
Yeah.
Even as males, like you could look amazing and then you can't even use your body.
Can't do
the whole
with
point
it anyway.
of looking good is to attract, obviously, the opposite or the same sex. And then if you can't even perform, it's like, what's the
point?
Imagine you have someone over and she's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, and then meanwhile, they're like, oh, do you want to go out for a drink? It's like, no, I can't.
No, I got
my chicken rice and broccoli ready.
Exactly.
That's out of my calories, sorry.
So unless if you want to compete or go through that process, give it a crack,
Yeah, not saying to not do it, but just understand.
Understand everything else is going to fall down the wayside. Everything. I'm not going to say one thing. It was basically everything. Even my brain function, just to be normal, I couldn't even do that. So, and if you know anyone in your life that's going through that, hopefully you get a bit more insight and maybe a bit easier on them. Don't take it personally. They're not being mean or not wanting to talk to you because you've done something to them. I think one member said that about me. So no, there's nothing personal. I was going through my own stuff and I wasn't eating enough. So I'll be happy now for the next few months. So October-ish, just be aware that I might be back in that element.
So that's the plan, get ready for show in October?
Yeah, in October. So if I can start, say June, July, obviously tracking everything, losing weight week to week. If I can start later on, it's going to be a lot better. It's going to be a smoother ride. And everyone told me that before as well, but like anything, for me, I always have to learn the hard way.
Experience is the best way.
But yeah, it was hard, but I've learned a lot about myself and about even just my own job, energy balance, how hard it is for people, what sacrifices you have to make. And yeah, just speaking to people that, like for you or for me or for anyone, any of the PTs on the floor, conversating with your clients and going, are you willing to sacrifice these things that you like to do for this? And if not, what is the compromise you can make, you know? What are the things you actually can sacrifice? And then if you give us that information and we both on the same page, at least we can go, okay, we can reach this goal based on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's it. You got to be honest with yourself.
I think that's the most important thing. And as we said, there's no like right or wrong answer, but
no, there's not.
It is about just identifying what you really want. What is your priority? What are you willing to sacrifice? What's sustainable? You know what I mean? You don't, just because someone says, even for you, you were having chicken rice and broccoli or fish and broccoli and stuff like that. That's the most optimal way, but it doesn't mean that you have to do that to be able to elicit fat loss. You don't have to do that.
I was just being super just
making sure you tick all boxes. And if you're not stepping on stage, you probably don't have to be ticking all boxes.
And in saying that, to look my best and to be how I was before, like, it's not honestly, it's not worth it. Yeah. It's not worth the extra 2-3%. Like, you might look that much better, but quality of life, relationships, just brain function, like, honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. And that's me, someone that's competing. I wouldn't actually recommend being at that body fat percentage just for quality of life. It's not worth it.
Well, thanks for coming on.
It's not worth it, but I'm going to do another show.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, my man. Again, really appreciate you being so raw, so open, so honest. It's a good insight for people to see. And congratulations on the show. It's an amazing result. Second place for your first show. I know October you're going to be that much better just from the experience, and I'm sure you're going to be dialed in for October, and I can't wait for that.
Yeah, because I did have a few cheat meals in my prep. So I think that's what it was as well. If you restrict yourself so much, you're going to just crave all that stuff. So if you can just have longevity and realize it's a long game, you won't stuff up so much. So at least because I'll have a longer period of prep, I know it'll be a lot easier. So yeah, long game.
Long game. See you guys till next time. Thanks for listening out. If you do enjoy this, like, subscribe, comment, do all those good things. If you find it informative, share to people that may help. So appreciate you stopping by. See you next time. Bye. Thanks.